Hey guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to highlight Boss Monster, which was one of the most recent videos I did. Last time we unboxed it, this time I'm going to explain how to play it, which is not something I've done in a while, so bear with me if I'm a little sketchy. So this particular game comes with the full rules, which is 21 pages long. The rules are pretty basic, which is why they were able to come with a second set of the quick start guide. So, having played it a few times, I feel confident in being able to tell you how to play it without looking back and forth at the rules. So, there are two main decks that you're going to play with. You have the spell deck and the room deck. Room deck, spell deck, okay? Then you have your boss monsters that you will shuffle up and deal one to each player. Now, if you're playing with 3 or less players, even if you're playing with 4, you can do this, but it takes a little bit longer. But what you can do... Oh, just noticed that glare, guys. Sorry. That's a little better. I hope we don't lose any lighting from that. Hold on. It's a little better. Let's see. Anyway, so you deal 1 to every player, and that's their boss. Or if you're playing with 2 or 3 people, again, you can do it with 4 players, but it takes longer. You can deal out 1 to everybody and then a second to everybody, and they can look at them and figure out which boss they want. So looking at them, you want to look at 2 things. Their experience level, which is going to tell you probably how quickly you get to go first, or second, or third, because that is your initiative order, whoever has the highest experience. The next thing you want to look at is their level up and their symbol. Now, their symbol has very, very little to do, because at this point you've not seen your cards in your hand, but knowing what all is in the deck, knowing what you could end up drawing, you might care or want to count cards. I don't play that way. So I look at the experience, and then I look at the level up. Let's say these were my 2. Draculord and Exax. Target opponent reveals his or her hand to you. Take 1 card and put it in your hand. So when you level up, and I'll explain that in a minute, you get to do this one effect, which is taking a card from the opponent after looking at their hand. This one says choose 2 cards from the discard pile and put them in your hand. So there, you can take cards that have already been expired for whatever reason, spell cards or room cards, and put them into your hand. 2 cards. So let's say I went with Exax. Okay, so we're gonna set Exax down here. First, you start out with it face down, and you discard your other one. Get those out of the way. Then simultaneously, everyone flips their card. And at this point, it doesn't matter who has the highest experience, but you will comment on what everyone has, so that way everyone knows who goes first, who goes second, who goes third. Because this is initiative order. So just because you sit down, you here, and your best friend here, and your girl over here, and then her best friend over here, and you want to go counterclockwise, it may not happen that way. And the game actually recommends, once you figure out what everybody has, then you should consider where you're going to sit at. Next, you will deal out 5 cards to everybody. Whoops. What's going on? Sorry about that, guys. But let me give these a quick shuffle here. And let's say I dealt 5 out to everybody. And these are my 5. And then you deal out 2 spell cards to everybody. You look at your 7 cards and you figure out which 2 you want to discard. Now, looking at the spells, Annihilator, give 1 trap +3 until the end of turn. So a trap room is that little skull and crossbone symbol right there. Why is this camera not focusing? There we go. See the skull and crossbone symbol? That's a trap room, and that's a monster room. So that gives +3 to a room like this. This one says, if you have fewer rooms than an opponent, you may build an extra room this turn. In my opinion, both of those are really good. So the 2 cards I'm probably going to get rid of are going to be room cards. I don't have any advanced rooms. Advanced rooms would have a gold-backed symbol. And then you have monster and trap rooms. So looking at these, first time a hero enters this room, send it back to the previous room. Monster rooms adjacent to this room have +1 once per turn. So I could probably get rid of a +1 because I already have the cleric symbol, so I don't need an extra cleric. Plus I'm holding on to one because both of these have 2 damage that you're going to do. And then see that one, and I keep the monster rooms. So I might get rid of a spell, which is not something I wanted to do. Here, just for the sake of it, we'll just go ahead and get rid of this one. Because by having monster rooms, I know I just messed myself over with this one here because it says give 1 trap room, and I don't have any trap rooms anymore. But I do have 3 monster rooms, and this one says monster rooms adjacent to this one have +1. So this one has +2, or it has 2. This one has 0. But by laying them out in this specific order, you can lay this one out on your first turn where there are no heroes on the table. Your second turn, you play this one. This one has 1. This one has 1 because of what this card text says. And then on top of that, this one here says, the first time a hero enters this room, send it back to the previous room. So it's going to go here, hit 1, go here, hit 1 because of this effect. Because of this effect, it's going to go back, take another hit. So you've just done 4 damage with 2 rooms that only say 1. And then you have this one for your third turn. Once per turn, if a hero dies in this room, you may draw a spell card. So you could play this one first. You have a 2 damage. Then this one that says +1. So 1, then 3. And then this one last. The problem with that, though, is that this here says when a monster enters this room, it goes to the previous room again. So the problem with that is you don't know what you're going to draw from the room deck, and you're going to hope that this card helps the card before it as well. So, but that's okay. Let's say that these are my cards. So on the first turn, you're going to play a card. I think I'll go ahead and play this one. And I'm going to play it face down. Wait for everybody. Then simultaneously, everyone flips. But whoever has the highest experience resolves their room first. Then second experience, then third, and so on. If the card does not say when you first build, then you have nothing to worry about. You only have an effect when it says to use it. Once that is done, that is the first turn before anything even happens. Then we take these cards. Yep. These are your hero cards. Heroes and epic heroes. Heroes and epic heroes. So you're going to shuffle your heroes. Make sure they're nice and shuffled. And after you've built your first room, before that, you've revealed who your boss monster is. And if you guys haven't caught on to that yet, you are the boss monster. You're trying to kill heroes and collect their souls right there. If one survives to the end, if one survives to the end, like having 8 damage on the first turn, and here I can't even do any, and this comes to me for some reason, which it won't, but let's say it did come to me, and I can't kill it before it gets to my room, it does a wound to me, and it sits right there. It sits like this to the right of my to the right of my monster in my scorekeeping area, but I take a wound, which is right there, that little blood mark. It stays face up. If I kill it, it gets flipped down, and I get to count that little jewel right there as a soul. So, after everyone's built their first room, you're going to reveal as many heroes as there are players. So normally it's just me and my wife. So we will reveal 2 heroes, and as you reveal them, they stay in that order. So technically, this was the first one I revealed a moment ago, and then I reveal this one. So right now, nobody has any souls, so the Fool doesn't go to anybody, because the Fool says he is lured to the dungeon with the player with the fewest souls. So he's just going to stay in town. Then you have the Thief. Well, I don't know what my other players have right now, because they're all imaginary, but I do not have any treasure tokens. I have a Cleric Relic and a Warrior's Sword, or a Fighter's Sword. So I have nothing to lure this guy into my dungeon. Now, if I wanted to keep him from someone else's dungeon, someone I thought could handle it, once the heroes are flipped, everyone gets dealt another room card. So you take that into your hand and you look at what you have. And so this gold symbol means that it is an advanced room. And this symbol has to match the room that it sits on top of. So this boss is not a room. This is my only room, which is a sword. So I cannot place this card on top of that. So I have to go with my original strategy, which is to play this. It has swords, so I'm still not going to lure that thief, so I'm still not going to hurt myself. But I'll lay that face down. Everybody does the same. At the same time, we all flip. And all of the effects resolve in initiative order. Let's say the Fool stays there because nobody has any fewer souls than anyone else. But then the Thief, let's say it goes over here and does a wound. Okay? So it goes to that person and it does a wound. So it stays like this. On the right side, I know I'm doing the left, but on the right side of their boss monster. So we're just going to set that there. The next turn, and every continuous turn, you do the same thing. Where'd my heroes go? You flip over as many heroes as there are players. And so here we have the Thief and the Fighter. 6 health and 6 health. And let's say nobody still has any souls. The Thief is going to stay there. Or I'm sorry, the Fool. The Fool is going to stay there. The Thief is going to go to the person with the most money bags, which is the symbol right there. It's reminding you what you're looking for. And let's say it's still this same person over here. So they're probably going to end up with it. And then we have a Fighter. Now, I have swords. What I don't have is enough to take them out. So everyone gets dealt another room card. So let's see what we drew here. Dark Laboratory. When you build this room, draw 2 spell cards, then discard a spell card. So I could either do that, or I could stick with my original strategy. Once per turn, if a hero dies in this room, you may draw a spell card. Now, a hero's not going to die in this room, but it is a monster room, which means it's going to get the +1 because it's adjacent to this room. So let's set that face down. Everyone follows suit. At the same time, everyone flips. This is not a when built card like this one is when you build this room. So in initiative order, everyone explains their room. And then everyone gets dealt the heroes. So let's say she gets the Thief again with 6 health, and maybe she beats it. Maybe she doesn't. Then with the Fighter comes to me. So it takes 2 damage here. I'm sorry, it takes 3 damage here. 2 plus 1. Then it comes to this room and it takes 1 more. So that's 3, 4. It's still alive. It's got 2 health. Then it comes here. It's going to take 1 damage. So now it has 5 damage. But this room says to send it back to this room. So it comes back here. It takes a 6th damage and dies. As soon as you have reached that amount, that hero is officially dead, is flipped face down, and is set to the right of your hero, of your boss. So we're going to do that, symbolizing that it's to the right. That is essentially what you're doing in Boss Monster. You play this way until either somebody or everybody has taken 5 wounds and there's only one remaining person still alive, or until one person has 10 souls. The regular heroes are worth 1 soul, and the epic heroes are worth 2 souls. But the problem with that is if you don't defeat them, you get 2 wounds, and their health is a lot higher. So, basically, that is Boss Monster. My wife and I have played it a few times, and I'm sure that we'll play it at least once for you guys. This is, surprisingly, a really decent game. I didn't think I was going to like it because I don't enjoy playing as the monsters, as the enemies, the bad guys, but it plays really well. And on the front of the box, it looks like a pixelated, an old version of like a Nintendo game or Super Nintendo game. So I was kind of off-put by that at first, and several times after. And even all the cards, they look pixelated. They look a little silly. They look like an old version of a old game. So I was kind of thrown off by it. But this game plays really well. It can play really quick. And it's actually kind of fun watching and seeing how things unfold, taking advice and tips from other people that they don't even know you're paying attention to. So that's Boss Monster. It is recommended for 2 to 4 players. Brought to you by Brotherwise Games. Where'd it go? Two to 4 players, 13 and up, recommended about a half hour. Unless it's your very first time playing, then it's recommended that you should probably play it, that it's probably going to take you about 45 minutes. And explaining this has taken a lot longer than what I thought it would, about 17, 18 minutes. But it plays so smoothly, you wouldn't even believe it. Like I said, every single turn, it's you flip 2 heroes, or however many people are playing. Everyone gets dealt a room card. Everyone plays a room face down. Everyone reveals it, takes initiative order to explain their room, or when built, do this, do that. And then the winner is whoever survives without getting 5 wounds, or whoever wins by getting 10 souls first. So that's it. Guys, listen, thank you so much for coming and stopping by today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, much love.